Well, part 2 of the conversion, and now we have a floor full of razor sharp little fragments of stainless. But I have to say, I was quite impressed with this. It didn't really suffer under too much. I took my time, let the tool do the work as you should do. Plenty of lube, you know, we need to lube the ring. And it cut through it quite well, actually a little bit too well. It did snag, can't quite see there now I've fitted it in, but I was worried that the curvature of this pot, the radius, would be too much for one of these, but it is. I mean, I was just hand tight, don't know how well it's coming up, but yeah, it seems to work quite well. I'm quite impressed with that. And obviously there you go, electric element, do your termination. Screw that on, job's done. Yeah. Not as cheap as doing it with a plastic box, but yeah, I don't know what they are now, but I think it set me back about 20 quid to do that conversion. But while we're on it, let's see if this lose that. I don't know whether it will clear that. Probably need to change it for one of those other fittings, but where is it? It's over there. I'll set it up off camera. But obviously, yeah, plenty of room. Yep, there's an upgrade. Let's have a check with a proper flange on it. Well, yeah, that works. Change it for that flange, and we've got, I don't think kilowatt for kilowatt this is anymore. I'm sure these are only 3, and I think well, depends on the Chinese Trades Description Act, which is non-existent. They're supposed to be 3,000 watts, but some of them were advertised as 4, but without basically putting them in something like this. Now I can rig it up, and obviously a lot of faffing about, keep draining it, filling it back up, energising the elements, and but yeah, do sit a bit high on a keg, but there's nothing you can do about that with the base shaped as it is. But yeah, if I ever do convert to the pots, then like one will be going in the pot. Now the question is, the $1 million question is, how do I get another one of them in there? Because that's not a 41mm hole there, and I need a 41mm hole, and obviously there's already a hole in it, so there's no way of stopping this from spinning around. Now I have somewhere kept the cutout, so I don't know whether I can use that against a piece of wood in the back of this to locate the drill bit, so that I can basically just cut a shim all the way around a few mil bigger to enlarge that hole to accommodate another one of these. I don't know. Not the end of the world if I can't, but I do have a few spares just in case. But I don't really want to fanny about building another one. But yeah, it's there, it's in, it's working. So I'm tending to let sleeping dogs lie, even though it would be nice, until that goes kaput or something and my hand is forced. I don't really want to beggar about doing it. Balls of steel. We got that jerry rigged as well. That should work. That'll be our water inlet for the HLT with a ball float in it, so if I get diverted or distracted and won't fill the shed up with water. Well, that's the plan. But so far, we move on a day later. Water's still sat in here and we don't have any drips, which is more than you can say for the Houses of Parliament. Well, the boil kettle held, apart from the whirlpool port, which is a bit of a compromise too far because the position the nozzle needs to be in and the position the tap needs to be in, there's not enough thread to play around with. It means that the washer gets deformed inside or outside no matter what I do. Can't quite get there, and as a result we have a little leak. So I'll try again. Put it under too much tension, deforms the washer, but I can't get the other end in the right position to actually be effective for a whirlpool. More of a water fountain. Right, two thin washers didn't work. This is another one, same thing I'm trying to use as a whirlpool port. Washer on the inside, washer on the outside, that on the outside, that on the inside. Minus the nut, just a washer replacing that. To get it in the right place, can't compromise. To get it in the right place and the handle upright, then they deform. So I scrapped that idea, used two of the thin green ones. Same problem, to get it in the right position at the right tightness. You could get it, well, not maybe sealed, but it was just too loose to be of any worth. It would have just, every time you connect something, you would rotate the whole tap round, and so there's just not enough friction there to grip the tap against this keg and provide an effective seal and keep this in the position I need it, sort of down there like that. So I've now tried again with the fat washer and the lock nut. This is what we're attempting. That at sort of the 7 o'clock position. The tap obviously 12 o'clock high. So now I'm going to attempt to bring that nut back down so that will pull the tap against the keg and provide the seal and adjust the tension, which is what I tried to do last time, but again there isn't a lot of thread gone into the tap. First time I experimented with it, the tap shot off because it pulled out the thread because it was only like half a turn, maybe a turn in. So we'll try again. Well, that didn't fucking work. Everything doesn't work. It's about as much use as Boris Johnson's fucking hairstylist. Right, I'm running out of options here other than using a big fuck off hammer. Won't fix the problem, but it'll make me feel a lot better. Right, I think I have cracked it. I've used one of those male-female half-inch jobbies that I've got there. That bit, male-female half-inch. Use that to secure the tap. And then put the end of the nipple with a washer on it. Got it in position and then move the back nut on there just to lock that in so it doesn't flop about. And that should be it. So we've got our pickup tube, our whirlpool port, and the oil for the element. So now we'll fill it up with water yet again and see where it leaks. Still a bit more deformed than I want it, but if I slacken it off, it's just too loose and it will just spin freely. And if it can spin that freely, it ain't gonna seal. And we'll see what happens now. We'll let it dry a bit and get all this bloody pipe compound off. Well, it's like watching paint dry, isn't it? Still no leak. Still more interesting than EastEnders. Right, so my last little job there. We're still waiting for a drip to form, and unfortunately we're still waiting for a drip to form. So hopefully we are done with that. Then the next thing will be to put this in somewhere for a temp probe. I don't know where. I'll have to weigh that up and I'll put the element in again somewhere along the back, allowing for enough clearance for against here. So while we're waiting, I'll just sort out the CIP cleaning doofra. So we've got 3-inch tri-cap, which remember I had a hell of a job drilling that thing. It was like trying to go through God knows what, Chobham armour. So we got an A type coupling here, or B, one with a male thread anyway, washer, screws into a coupler, which then screws into another male ended quick disconnect, cam lock, whatever they are. So it will come off this in the keg cleaning format. I've got a source of submersible pump for this to screw into, so that lot would go in a bucket. Some kind of bracket system to suspend the keg over the top of this, and that will do its business inside the keg, pumping out through the gas and liquid posts at the same time. And when we're finished with that, we take it off and attach it to this. Like so, and that goes in the CIP, and we have a possibly the same submersible pump with another cam lock fitting on it, so that will just go on the top and pump through a bucket, discharge out the bottom of the fermenter and recirculate the cleaning fluid round. Then obviously do it again with a rinse. Then the final manual clean, because you know that I'll never get everything done. So yeah, another little side project is just sorting out a pump of some description. So if anyone knows of a cheapish submersible pump, reasonably powerful, that can suffice for both uses, and obviously has a 1/2-inch BSP fitting on the end. I haven't looked. I've got one screw fix pump, but certainly wouldn't want to be using them for anything sanitary. And they're about 50 or 60 quid, which I don't really want to spend that much. I have got the 12-volt pumps that I originally had for this brew rig, because that's all still in here, which I may well still use them to start off with before I go to the brew pump 3000, 2000s, whatever they were. So we are getting there. Just a HERMS coil to go, I think, and another great debate. Answers in the comments section. Do I fit this sexy little bee hatch into the mash tun? It's all there. Just needs another hole bonked through. And seems a shame to waste it, but I'm not quite sure where in a keg to fit it, because obviously it's got to be in the grain bed, hasn't it, to be any use. So without knowing how much grain is going to fill this keg up, so any one of you that have already used 50 litre kegs, is it worth putting it on the second band just up here, or is that going to be sitting on the top of the grain bed? Obviously it ain't going to be much use on a light batch, but obviously the main thing will be that. But it's just nice to have a backup, because obviously the PID for the mash doesn't actually do anything. That's the mash PID. I haven't done the labels yet, but obviously it gives you some redundancy though, because all it does is read temperature for mash. So if something goes down on your PIDs, you can always nick one swap them round, and then you'd have this still to give you your temperature, but I don't know whether to fit it or not. That is the question. Got me spies out. Well, been a few changes in here. Extra shelving for more bottles. Well, we've had a bit of a clear up since the last one, but so we can see more or less where they'll live. Sort of, maybe, subject to a little bit of jostling. Can't really see it all in the shop in here, but we have had since the last upload 24 hours have elapsed, and she's dry as a bun. So that means one thing: empty it and drill another hole. Well, here's a mock-up, sort of, subject to final positioning. But, we've temporarily hard plumbed just as a feasibility, really. They're not quite probably how it'll end up, but just as a experimente. So it will go in and through the coil and out, and then through the sight glass and into the sparge. But yeah, probably want to cut down on the amount of fittings there, but I'm trying to find a U-bend that's the right width. I've had a look on there. A lot of the sites, they don't actually say what the dimension between these 2 points are, unfortunately, but if not, I'll have to see if I can make something up, I guess. But we're almost, I think, out of washers. I might have enough, I might not. These are the slightly larger ones, which are okay going on fronts of them where there's plenty of metal for them, but I only got 3 left, and I still haven't fitted the Thermo Dubry What's It. I've got a washer on that, so that's allowed for that. So it's just a ball valve, which I think I've put the washer on that, so I might have enough as long as I don't need one each end on these two. I can't put the coil in yet because I need something to go from there to the middle of the pot. Now, I've seen a dip tube pipe with a slightly sort of 45-degree angle and one that does a 90, and I think the 90 will be better to reach across and drop down in the centre there. I think if I get the other one with the 45 at the tip, not that it really matters a huge amount. I could put a piece of silicone in there or something, but the 90 is slightly cheaper, so it doesn't really make a lot. There's only £1 difference, but I think that'll work better. And if the elbow point is too long, I can trim it to fit. But obviously I can't retrofit that with the coil in the way, so I will have to leave it and wait for the slow boat from China to deliver that. I haven't ordered it yet, so that'll put it back. So let's see if I can make the order up with anything else I might need. Because again, I'm sort of going back to these. I don't need them now, but if I'm going to do an order with one company, I might as well do it and save a bit of postage potentially. But with that, and the next thing is I managed to get, courtesy of the MOD NAFI, that one. This one is from a pair of thermo pots I bought, some catering urns, the thermal insulated non-electric ones. I think obviously you have tea or soup and that in, and obviously the one that has the tea bags in, and then you put that in the top, put the lid back on and let it stew. When I sold them, I kept this bit because it's quite a handy very similar sort of gauge mesh, slightly. This is more of that sort of slotted cheese grater type effect, where this one's just straight perforations, and this one's got the bit so you can put your hops in. You could even push that down like a coffee percolator and squidge out every last bit of the hops, but that can go in. It sits and it actually clears the element. Obviously I need someone supporting it, suspending it from the top there, so I might need to find get a stainless TIG wire. Someone can donate a piece of that, or I have got some MIG wire if it's strong enough, and then a little clamp to grip around the top here just so it will hold it in place like that, and the hops can go in that. Nice perforation. It's not as quite as dense as those Chinese ones, and it's a bit more robust as well. So that will sort me out with the hop spider. Filter again, we've got that. We have Snowy as the Chalky. Can we call you Chalky, or are you going to do us all up? The old thing, he's ever so skitty. That goes Buzz, he fucking runs. Thinks he's going to get tasered. We got the filter, which we can put from out of the mash tun, filtering those pesky little grains, and it can go on the recirc back round, or when we're finished it can go that away. So we filter from the grain bed, shouldn't be too much, but can go through there and out and into the boil kettle. And obviously when we're done for the day and we've got a kettle with pellet debris, there shouldn't be too much obviously with one of them, but you never know. We can do the whirlpool and use this or the other one I've got to run through. It'll be the other way around, isn't it? I can't remember now. It's in there anyway. That can attach to that end and then go out, or be pumped round via the pump and be pumped into the fermenter. We can hardcore it to the interwebs via the Ethernet, or use Wi-Fi, and that should be it. Haven't tested that again yet, but hopefully I'll get that Thermo pocket well, Dubry, what's it, anal probe, whatever it is, and give it a go. I haven't got anything to block the lid up, but I'll Heath Robinson something up for the lid just to give it a test. If it takes away 80-90% of the steam, it'll be a result really. But yeah, I think that's all for this next episode. Until we have a supply from Lang Shang Po, we'll be back again.